Did you know that some high schools have programs in place which help students explore different possible career options, take classes to learn about some of these options, and can even receive both college and high school credit at the same time by taking some of these classes? Yes, it's true. Some schools do more of this than others, but I found out that the high school students within the Burbank USD have a lot of options to learn about possible career choices. What's also really good is that instead of just learning about these possible choices by reading about them or listening to a lecture, in some cases, they can actually experience what it is like to work in these fields or careers by doing real world training and not just learning old, outdated systems and technology, but current, cutting edge material that is really used in those fields. So, if you have a student that is still trying to work out possible career paths, I think you're going to watch today's show. Welcome to the latest episode of Learning with Success, the show for parents of school-aged children, sponsored by Success Tutoring Online, helping students with academic advancement for over 20 years. And I'm your host, Armando Salcido. Today, I have not one, but two guests. I have Diana Dysthe, the CTE Counselor for both Burbank High School and John Burroughs High School. And by the way, CTE stands for Career Technical Education. My second guest is Sabrina Ruiz-Emmons. She works very closely with Diana. Sabrina is a K-12 Strong Workforce Program Pathway Coordinator for the Glendale Community College District area, hosted by Burbank USD. And I'll have her explain what that title means. So welcome, Diana, and welcome, Sabrina. How are you both doing?
Great. Thanks for
Doing
having
good.
Okay, very good. Now, since I have two guests, to avoid awkward silences or both of you trying to answer at once, I'm going to ask each of you specific questions. But if the question would be better answered by the other guest, please let me know. Or the first guest can answer, and if there is more to be added, the second guest can provide additional information. So the first question I'm going to direct to Diana. So, Diana, what exactly is CTE, Career Technical Education?
So CTE is a program that we have in Burbank Unified. As far as our high school classes, the career elective choices, we have culinary, photo, digital media, our academies, medical engineering, health, business, animation, just a variety of career education courses. So CTE is a program that allows these students to explore these careers by taking these elective classes for high school credit. And as you mentioned in your intro, some of them have agreements with the community colleges to be earning high school and college credit at the same time. So CTE also incorporates our dual enrollment college classes after school, our partnerships with our community colleges. Um, it's a big umbrella.
Wow, that covers a lot. That's amazing. How many different possible career options? So, so this next question I'm going to direct to Sabrina. Now, Sabrina, what are some of the careers or pathways that students can explore through CTE, in addition to what Diana mentioned, or is there any, or is basically did she really pretty much cover everything?
Well, she just covered what we offer at Burbank Unified. So there's 15 CTE sectors, and students are offered different courses and different pathways. There's hundreds of different pathways depending on the high school. So specifically what Diana had mentioned was animation. So we offer that, business courses, short-term and vocational programs, industrial arts, medical academy, and then culinary. So it just depends what the pathway that your high school offers.
So each high school is a little bit different then.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Um, and again, that covers a lot of just widely different career paths. So now, in each of these possible career paths, do students learn just about what people in those careers do, or do they actually get hands-on training and experience for actual work in those fields? And I'll direct that question to Diana.
Right. They get both the hands on training with state of the art equipment, such as in our digital media, TV and film production classes. You know, the equipment they're using is state of the art, so they learn real life skills in that industry area. They have guest speakers come in, they do field trips, um, they produce work products such as our broadcast journalism produces a show at both high schools with our weekly bulletins, like a newscast almost. So it's very hands-on and very real world, real career training. You know, they're really getting that hands-on experience.
Wow. So they actually get real data and information and training of what somebody would get that actually is going to be working in the field.
Right. And like our stage tech program, I mean, they're working with the soundboards and the lighting and putting on these shows at both Burroughs and Burbank High School that again, many of those students from graduating high school go on to work in the industry because they have the skills and the training that's for entry level.
Oh, that's great. I'd like to ask Sabrina to if she could explain a bit more about her title and what it means. It was a long title. Okay, it's the K-12 Strong Workforce Pathway. Let me say that again. It's actually quite a mouthful. The K-12 Strong Workforce Program Pathway Coordinator for the Glendale Community College District area, hosted by Burbank USD. Now, I believe that refers to the California Strong Workforce Program, a program that was implemented in California in 2016. So now, what exactly is the Strong Workforce Program, and how does your job fit into that?
So, the Strong Workforce Program, I am blessed to be part of this SWB program, which is a cornerstone project for the Community College Chancellor's Office. And the program is designed to support K 12 local education agencies such as Burbank and creating and improving, expanding career technical education courses and pathways for students. So that way we can help them gain a living wage.
Interesting. So it's is it sponsored by the colleges? Is it actually overall uh, um, funded, statewide, or how is this? Can you give a little bit more information about it?
It is statewide in California. I believe there is 85 K-12 pathway coordinators for the community colleges. And so not every community college does have a pathway coordinator. So there are some pathway coordinators that have multiple colleges that they work with. So it's a wonderful opportunity for K-12 to collaborate with the community colleges so that way we can align pathways for students and give them those opportunities, whether that's, getting their A through G dual enrollment credits or short-term vocational programs that they're interested in, or even, a college and career exploration course.
Okay, very good. Now, during one of the times that we spoke on the phone, you mentioned that the California Community College Chancellor has made it a goal for every high school student to graduate from high school with 12 college units already under their belt. Now, that would mean that a high school student, upon graduation and immediately starting at a community college, would begin with 12 college credits or college units already in place. Is that correct?
Yes, and I think that is awesome that the state of California is implementing that. We have a new community college chancellor, and she's very eager and supportive of dual enrollment, community colleges, and she believes that our students are capable and wants to give them that opportunity so that way they can begin their journey, whether that's in college or in their career classes.
Okay, very good. And is the purpose of this mainly to help California students and their families financially so that they don't have to pay for those additional college credits? Or is there another purpose for this?
I wouldn't say that that's the sole purpose. I would say that that is an amazing bonus to save money, and we don't want students to go into debt, in college. So that's why we're offering this dual enrollment so that way they can get a head start if they choose to, taking the courses for free. And then a lot of times, college and career exploration is not offered, and it's not usually a question that students are asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? That's a very hard goal to define as a young adult.
Very good. That's correct. Um, wow. All right. So the next question I'm going to direct to Diana. Diana, you
Yeah.
and Sabrina have explained about what CTE is, but now within CTE, there is another entity or program to help students with their possible career choices, and that is the NAF Academy or National Academy Foundation. So, what is the NAF Academy, and how does that fit in with CTE?
So NAF Academy, which is our business, medical, and engineering, is a part of the CTE program. And Allison Edge is the NAF director. So both Burbank High and Burroughs have these academies. Burbank is the one that has the business academy. Both high schools have the medical and the engineering. And it encompasses like a cohort of students that have to apply, meet the deadline of application, and they go through their 4 years of high school, adding in sequences of courses under the NAF program. They do an
Okay.
they do an internship, they get field trips, they learn how to do a career portfolio that's just awesome. They do mock interviews with industry professionals. So I highly recommend you reach out to Miss Edge because she's has an award-winning program. I know she's received the programs have received um, high awards, and just she runs a wonderful program for our district.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Well, okay. Well, thank you for that, and definitely, it looks like that gives me an opportunity to set up another podcast. Okay, so yes, I'll definitely reach out to. And you said Allison Edge, is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll reach out to Allison Edge to see if she'd like to come on as a guest, so that we can talk about all of the specifics about the NAF Academy. And okay, so now this next question I'll ask both of you. You both have very different titles and yet work together very closely. So how do your responsibilities differ, and how exactly do you work together? So Diana, would you like to go first?
They differ in that I'm at the high school site. So I'm at John Burroughs, I'm at Burbank High, I'm in the Career Center. I'm working directly with the high school students and the teachers in our program. And Sabrina is someone I turn to mainly when we meet with our Glendale College Pathways meetings, or if I need a contact or a resource, I can reach out to her and get support. Or when I'm planning CTE day for the high schools, I can reach out to her and say, "Hey, do you have a contact for this area?" Or I need information here. Um, so I don't know if that helps to understand a little bit more how we work together, and yet our roles are a little different. Uh,
Yeah. So, okay. Well, good. Thank you. Let me ask Sabrina. Would you care to add anything to that?
Yes. So I believe that our collaboration is very unique and it's been very successful with Burbank because of the outstanding communication. So we have a monthly, meeting with K-12 with Burbank Unified administrators, counselors, as well as Glendale Community College. And in these meetings, we're talking about pathways, we're talking about labor market, how we're aligning the pathways and being intentional with the student needs and the labor markets, making sure that once they complete these pathways, they're going to have an opportunity for employment. So, in my part, my role is to support this facilitation and collaboration between K 12 and the community colleges. And whether that's like Diana mentioned, giving her a contact, helping her, find contacts, finding labor market informations for the district when we're writing our grants, helping them establish different pathways and supporting them in any way. And that also includes establishing CTSOs. So within Burbank, we also have CTSOs, which are career technical student organizations, where students can actually go and compete against other schools in that specific field, let's say robotics or engineering, and they can gain that hands-on experience within that area.
Wow. Wow, this is great. Well, I'll tell you, I really think this is good because I know from I can think back from, back in my days when I was in high school, which was like a long time ago. It's hard to think about what you want to do as a kid. You don't know. So I think this idea of exploring different options or being exposed to them really helps out, quite a bit. This is really good. So now, okay, we've talked about the CTE and the NAF Academy, and we'll get more details about that when I can contact Allison about that. But in addition to these programs, now, Diana, you also work with the College Career Center at both John Burroughs and Burbank High Schools. Now, do you help students and their families to try to get into four-year colleges or universities, or do you explore all possible career paths for students and help them to discover their best option, even if it means that not going to a four-year college? How do you operate?
So we have a career technician, Shannon Mirando. She might be another interesting guest for you. She
Okay.
plans the college and career fair for the district. She does all the scholarships, any service awards, that students are trying to get that 100-hour medallion, or they may change it to another way to show that. Going forward, they may have a graduation accord or something at graduation. But so she works really closely with the students and the counselors on that 4-year degree path. If a parent or student came in and said, I need help with figuring out what I want to do, or a college major, I would definitely, go to my resources and provide an assessment or guidance with them. And I'd also encourage them to take our dual enrollment counseling 020 class, which is career and college success. And it's been a class that's really helped students learn how to navigate through college, how to find a college major, how to pay for college. So yeah, and mainly, if teachers, like our health department has careers in their health curriculum. So oftentimes I'll go in and do a lesson on career exploration. I might use the LA Career Finder or the CA Career Zone and do a lesson with the ninth grade health classes. I've done like a budgeting lesson where they learn how to plan for how much money they're going to need to support their lifestyle, and what careers would support that lifestyle, and the education involved in that, and what high school classes they can start taking to explore those careers. So my role is kind of vast, and as far as that question. But again, Miss Miranda is more of that college technician, point person. Um, and she's great. She works so hard. She works at both high schools as well. So we're constantly shuttling back and forth, Um, yeah.
Very good, very good. Like I said, I really do think that kids, local kids at the high schools here have so many different opportunities. That's why I really wanted to do this podcast to let parents and students know about all of these different possibilities. So now, along the same line, I know that for quite a long time, there has been a strong push in educational institutions to get more and more students to four-year universities and for them to get one or more college degrees. But that's not always the best way to go for every student. Some do better and actually earn more income by going into training for and becoming skilled at a specific trade. But I think that students trying to go that route may sometimes feel like they're bucking up against the system, bucking up against the norm, or going against what would be expected of a successful student. Now, the short video that you sent me, Sabrina, explains this very well. I really liked it. So if it is okay, I'd like to post a link to that video in the notes for this podcast to make it available for parents to watch. And in the meantime, Sabrina, can you give us a brief synopsis of what is covered in that video and explain why it is important for students and their families to learn about all of the possible career options and pathways they have available to them?
Yes. So that is a great video, and that is by Dr. Kevin Fleming. He's part of the Los Angeles Regional Consortium. He's one of the um, partners. So within that video, he explains redefining the goal. So as you mentioned, it's always been a stigma. You graduate high school, so you either go to college or you go into the workforce. For the longest time, that's what, people have been taught. And as he mentioned, Kevin Fleming, he had so many degrees and so much student loans, and it was not beneficial to him. So it's not always beneficial to obtain that when you can take a short-term course. And so that's why we want to make sure that our students know their opportunities, excuse me, know what opportunities are available to them within college and career ready. So we want students to know that they do have options. So it's not necessary that you have to go to a four-year university. You can take a short-term course, you can get a certificate, you can get trained in skills. So the main message from that video is the combination of education and skills is what we want students to understand, is what employers are looking for in the job force. So something as simple as soft skills. So you can learn that in high school, you can take a CTE course, you can learn that in college, and you can work your way to the top of the organization. So you don't necessarily need to go to school to obtain a master's, a doctorate within your field. So it always depends on what your student wants to study, what area they want to study. And as you mentioned, some people working in career technical vocational skills are making more money than those that do have master's degrees. So we just want students to understand that and parents to understand that there are so many options for your students and there's so many opportunities within the Burbank district that they are offered. And that's why Diana's role is so important, because she's communicating every day with the students and the parents. And she's the person that's putting their dual enrollment papers in the system and communicating directly with, whether that's Glendale Community College or LA Valley College. So our roles are both important and we all both have the same goal in supporting our students.
And
Very good.
if I can add to that,
Yes, sure.
I find through the dual enrollment college classes and the process the students have to go through to become a college student, the soft skills becomes very prevalent to me as far as they gain confidence and they gain this assurance of themselves. For example, I had a girl in the Career Center yesterday, and she came in kind of frustrated about the process with Valley College and trying to get enrolled. And I, connected her to the outreach Zoom that they have. Valley College has a great, as well as Glendale, both have virtual help available. And oftentimes students are hesitant. They're so used to their guidance counselor just plugging in the class for them that they really come to me saying, I want to take communications, put me in it. So they have to switch the role to becoming responsible for their own education. And the confidence this student had by the end of lunch, because she reached out and took control of what she needed to get done and the information she needed. It was so wonderful to see the difference. And like she was like, okay, I can do this. I can get enrolled in a college class. And then after taking one, especially that counseling class, I had a first generation, she'll be a first generation college student, share with me, I now know what I need to do. I now know how to apply. I know what major I want to go into. I know what schools offer it. So they gain such a confidence that data shows that they end up, being more successful in college when they do go. And I can attest to it because I see it.
Yeah. 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 Like I said, this is really, really good. I'll tell you, at Success Tutoring Online, we've been helping students with academic progress for over 20 years. We've been helping students to learn and understand what they're studying and how to use or apply it in their life, or how they can use it in the future. But a lot of times before coming to see us, we find that a lot of students are not really learning. They may be getting through the classes or maybe even getting good grades, but they're not necessarily engaged, interested, and actively trying to learn and understand the material presented to them in class. They're kind of going through the motions. And one of the many reasons this can happen, and there can be many, is that students don't see how the material that they are studying will help them in any way. They don't see a value in it for themselves. So I think that the programs that you have, like the CTE and the NAF Academy, which falls under CTE, can really help students to see the value in what they're learning. And if they can see that, I think can really help to stimulate actual interest and engagement for the students so that they will really want to learn. Um, would either of you care to comment on that? Diana.
Yeah, I immediately think about our construction program at John Burroughs and our culinary programs at both high schools and the invaluable need to know your math, especially in the construction area. And even when I visited Trade Tech and I got to see them, doing the framing and the roofing and all, and I'm, thinking of our construction program and, one little half a centimeter off and the pieces aren't going to fit. Or in culinary, you put too much baking soda or too much sugar, the measurement. So they start to realize, wow, math does matter. Um, and then I try and get the students to understand, even when you go into your community college, whether you're going to do an associate's degree or a transfer program, you're going to have to take a very similar program that you did in high school, your English, your math, social science, your fine arts, just to broaden your awareness and expose you to all the areas. Because oftentimes when you take some of these other classes, it sparks interest into another career area. So trying to get them to be open um, to why it is they're having to take certain academic classes. Because I know as a high school student, I didn't have, geometry for me was just not a success. And I used to think, wow, why am I ever going to use this, right? But it's just part of education, and getting them to just understand all jobs have duties that we don't like to do, right? We
True.
all just have to make the best and do what we have to do.
You mentioned geometry. Now, that's one subject that I talk to students all the time about geometry because they don't really understand, that they're working on angles and properties of angles. And when I work with students, I have them take a look at the desk that they're at right now. How many angles are in the desk? In the room that they're in, how many angles in the room that they're in? And you cannot construct something or build something without angles. And if you really understand angles, you can add strength. With angles, you add uh, uh, structure, you add strength, and there's so much that you add, but you have to know these things so that you can use them and apply them. So, okay, Sabrina, would you like to add anything to what Diana said?
Yes, I believe earlier Diana had mentioned lifestyle. So that is something that we talk to students about. We ask those open-ended questions, what kind of life they envision for themselves, creating that vision board for them, whether that's paper or digital, making sure they understand, okay, to have this type of lifestyle, this is the amount of money that you will need to live off of in California, or whether you're going to live in another area. And that's why it's important to ask those questions to students as well as expose them to the CTE program. So that way they have that opportunity to take those courses, whether it's a business course, a work experience course, or just a simple course on soft skills or how to draft a professional email. That's a simple task that we do on a daily basis that students are not taught all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So I think these are great programs, and I really wish they'd been around when I was in school, but I'm glad that they're being implemented now. Students still need to learn and understand what they're studying in class, which is where tutoring, like what we provide at Success Tutor Online, can help. But coupled with the programs that you are overseeing, uh, I think students really have a chance to succeed not only as students in high school, but as successful, productive, well compensated, and happy adults. Now, would either of you like to comment to that? And this time we'll go with Sabrina first.
Yes, I believe in combination with the education, successful support systems such as tutoring, as well as vocational programs, and the guidance is what students need to make sure that they're on the right track for what their goals are. And yes, we want them to be young, successful adults, being able to be self-sufficient and independent and making a living wage to be able to support themselves and possibly a family in the future.
Okay, very good. Diana, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to share that, students have told me, such as in the animation program at Burbank High and their wonderful teacher, Miss Pickett, that that is the reason why they wake up every day and go to school. So if we didn't have programs like that, I just feel like we would lose so many students, and a higher level of disengagement like you're talking about.
Yeah.
It really becomes, especially, I mean, Miss Pickett is so awesome and her energy is so contagious, and the opportunities that she has with the mentorship program with Nickelodeon, these students, just live and breathe animation, and they beautify the school. I don't know. There's a now a mosaic tile mural that they just recently put up, as well as the beautiful hand painted mural on Building 2 there. And it adds life to the campus. And, another program, the photo program at John Burroughs, I know Miss Clark, the students have shared with me, they just they get a camera in their hands, and that's it. They found their niche. So I'm just so grateful that we have programs like this. Students really need to have that connection, especially after the pandemic. We've all noticed a big change in getting the students now to get more acclimated to reconnecting again, right? Reconnecting to being a part of a school campus.
Right.
Really important.
Okay, well, we've covered a lot here today, and as we're getting close to the end of today's podcast, would either of you like to say anything further about CTE, the NAF Academy, career exploration or preparation, community college, or anything else? So, Diana, would you like to say anything further?
I just want to encourage all of you watching, whether it be students or parents or family members, if you have a child a part of the Burbank USD High School, to check out our website. It's off Burbank USD under programs, or burbankusd.org/CTE. And our classes start September 18th. They're filling up quickly. Again, enrollment is the student's responsibility. So fall might not be doable, but maybe spring. So keep abreast of that website. And look at all that we have, our articulation agreements, our pathways are on there, our dual enrollment information, and just get a sense of what we've talked about today. And then you can reach out to me. My email's there on the website as well. And I appreciate you having me too. And
very good.
Being here.
Yeah, very good. I'm going to be adding a link to the website page in the notes to this podcast. And okay, Sabrina, would you like to add anything further?
Yes, I just want to support what Diana mentioned. So we want to encourage parents and students to visit the CTE website. And if you have a student at the high school, please encourage them to walk into the Career Center, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask a question about a program or something that you're interested in. We can research that with you and help you on that path to your college and career, and be very supportive in that manner.
Okay, very good. Diana and Sabrina, thank you very much for coming on as guests. We've covered quite a bit. And for those parents and students listening or watching today's show, I think that you've given them quite a bit of information to review or to think about. So thank you very much again for coming on as guests and for letting parents and students know about the different programs available to students here at Burbank High Schools. As mentioned, I'm going to be adding a link to the website that will give information on how to contact Diana or get information about the CTE and the NAF Academy also. Again, thank you very much, both of you, for joining us here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Very well. Okay, bye. I want to thank all of our listeners and all of those watching on YouTube for joining us today. I hope that you have found today's show to be valuable and informative. If you like today's show and you haven't already, please subscribe so as not to miss any of our upcoming interviews. For now, this is Armando Salcido signing off, and I hope to see you again next week. As mentioned at the beginning of the show, Learning with Success is sponsored by Success Tutoring Online. Our administrative offices are located in Burbank, California, but we provide tutoring or academic advancement to students throughout the United States.